In order to make a communication between multiple computers, they follow certain procedures and protocols and models. So there are two famous models. One is OSI models of TCP/IP and other is UDP. I hope everybody knows about this TCP/IP model of OSI. So it has 7 layers. Network layer, sorry, it's physical layer. Physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation layer, and then application layer. Right? This is TCP/IP model. Okay, this is the way of how computers communicate with each other. What does this mean? What does this 7 layers mean exactly? Assume that you have your LAN and you are trying to communicate two computers A and B in the LAN. Okay, now first what you do in order to communicate between these two computers, you'll connect a cable, right? You'll connect a cable between these two computers. Okay, okay, or if it is two computers, you connect a cable and you'll work around with communication. Or if there are multiple computers, okay, then you'll have switch or router. Those multiple computers are connected to those devices. Okay, now connecting the cable, everything comes under the physical layer. Okay, the examples of physical layers are Cat5 or Cat6 or optical fiber, different cables. So basically what happens when you see your computer, the cable, there are two types of cables you'll find on that network cable, Cat5 and Cat6. The basic difference between Cat5 and Cat6 cable are Cat5 can transmit a maximum of 10 Mbps per second, where Cat6 transfers 1 GB per second. Okay, so Cat6 is much faster than Cat5, and optical fiber, it is very fast when compared this Ethernet cables. Okay, so under physical layer, whatever you can see the physical things that are connected to multiple computers to make a communication comes under this physical layer category. Here, that's the reason I told you. Example, these cables, Cat5, Cat6, optical fiber, or whatever the cables it is, this comes under the physical layer. Now, data link layer. As soon as you connect this cable, okay, you will see that lights will be blown, orange and yellow color light. Okay, on this layer, example, I'll take switch. Switch is a device that comes under this data link layer. So after connecting the cable, if everything is good, then computer A will establish a link with computer B and computer B will establish a link with computer A. I mean, the bidirectional link will be established. How? With the help of here intermediate device called switch. A switch will know these both computers are connected to me. Okay, now they are good to communicate. Those link established and everything will be controlled by a device called switch. Okay, that's the reason switch comes under the example of data link layer. Next, third. So after a link has been established, now here comes example of router. Now a router has to provide one of the IP address for your computer A and one of the IP address for your computer B, right? Okay. After establishing the link, as soon as the link established, your computer A and computer B will broadcast a message. It will broadcast a message in the entire LAN saying, "Hey, I am just now connected. I'm looking for IP address. Can somebody give the IP address to me?" Now, router, the layer 3 device will provide IP addresses to your computers A and B. Let us assume router has provided IP address of something. How router provides IP address? It will take the IP address from the IP range, whatever you configured while creating the router. Or the best terminology or terminal word I can use is IP range pool. Okay, assume that my router has configured IP range 192.168 1.02 192.168 1.255. Now it can give the IPs like 1.0 1.1 1.2, like that it will go to until 1.255. Now from this entire range it will observe what are the free IPs that are not assigned to computers. It will pick automatically, router will pick one of the IP address and will assign the IP address to this both computers. And this router also helps to route the traffic between these computers A and B. So those devices comes under the category of network layer. Now talking about an example of transport layer. Here now computer A will send the information to computer B. Assume that I have information on computer A side, hello, HELLO. Now in order to send the information, okay, how you see that information, how you provide that information. For example, now on this computer, I have if I try to selling the if I try to send the information, I can see the information from a software. Assume that I want to read some file. I can choose either a text editor of my computer or a notepad plus plus, okay, or if I want to see some image, I'll use Windows photo viewer. If I want to listen some music, I'll use VLC player. So VLC players, all these third party tools that are helping me to see these things or to read the information or to write the information, okay, those all comes under this application layer, okay, softwares. And presentation layer, now assume that if computer A wants to send some information to computer B, what it does is it will break down that information into small pieces. Okay, and it call each and every piece as packets. Okay, now talking about one packet, the the size of one packet varies from depend upon the entire information. The packet consists of the real data along with the real data. You'll be having the source address from where this packet is started, and it will have the destination address to where this packet has to reach. And it will have the TTL value, time to live. So assume that in this packet we have information H. Now this packet computer will send first to cable, that it goes to router. Router reads the destination address where this packet has to reach. Now router will say, hey, I know, go to IP address 1.2. Now this is how the packet goes to B. This is first packet H completed. Now second packet E has to go. Third packet L, fourth packet L. Okay, this is how the packets travel or communicate between the two computers, I mean source and destination, in order, in sequence. Every packet will have a packet number. So while creating the packet itself, the source computer will name the packets with uh, number like 1, 2, 3, 4, ascending numbers it will name, okay, in order. In the same order only, after receiving all the packets, assume that B has received all the packets L, L, O, H. Now that computer B wants to arrange all this information in a systematic way, okay, H, E, L, L, O. So arranging these packet in a controlled way, or from the source computer, okay, dividing this packet in a control, I mean in an ascending order, everything comes under, okay, this presentation layer. Here, after receiving the packets, computer B wants to arrange these packets in a systematic way, and it has to give that information to your application. Assume that if I'm trying to transfer some video file, it will arrange all the packets in a systematic way, and then it will provide that information to your software VLC. Now VLC will play that. So presentation layer, this is how the presentation layer works. And a session layer, before sending this packet, the source computer has to make sure whether the destination is correct and it can reachable. Okay, for that the transport layer helps to transport the packets, and the session layer establishes a session between your computer source and destination. Now under the transport layer, the packet will send between the source and computer. Okay, application layer is to view and modify and edit or write the data. Presentation layer, in order to view, write and read the data, you have to arrange the packets in a presented way so that it can be read by the software. A session layer, in order to send the packets, okay, we have to establish a session. The session has to be very secure, like every packet has to be encrypted, okay, and from source side it has to be encrypted, and the destination side it has to be decrypted. And transport layer helps to transport the, it takes care of how the packet is flowing from source to destination, all the packets are reached or not. If not, again it will, destination server will say, hey, I missed the packet number 3. Then source server again it will prepare a packet number 3 and it will send. This is how the transport of everything will be taken care. A network layer, here IP address assigning, okay, and writing the route rules, everything will be comes under this network layer. Data link layer, switches, and physical layer, the cables. Okay, this is one of the, in general, most common communication model that computer follows. Okay, why I'm telling is, this is very basic. Why I'm telling is just, I'm just reminding, because as we are talking about the networking basics, we'll be talking about these basics related concepts on this Amazon course. Okay, again there is an UDP model. It is also similar to this TCP/IP model, but it talks about only 4 layers: physical, data link, network, and then application layer. Now, the basic difference between this UDP and TCP/IP model is, okay, the source and destination computers will communicate in TCP/IP model in a three-way handshake. Three-way handshake is nothing but after sending the data from source to destination, destination server has to acknowledge that I have got the data. This is how. Now, let's assume that this is the source and this is the destination. First, source server will send an request to destination server, and destination server says that okay, I have received your request, okay, and you can communicate with me. Then the source server says okay, everything is good, now I'll make a communications, and then it starts making a communication. For each and every packet it sends, it gets the acknowledgement from the destination server whether the packet has reached or not in TCP/IP model. Okay, here acknowledgement to the source server matters much, because if it destination server doesn't give the acknowledgement that the packet have received, source server again doesn't send the next packet. When it comes to UDP model, source server doesn't care whether that packet is reached by destination or it went to destination or not. Just it will send an information. It will send all the packets. It doesn't concern about whether the packet has been collapsed in middle or the destination server reached the packet or not. Nothing. So basically we use UDP model way of communication for broadcasting messages like TVs. Okay, you'll get TV communications, and those will you'll use uh, UDP model of communication. Where TCP/IP model, like telephonic VoIP calls that you have, not exactly the VoIP calls. VoIP calls also comes under the UDP model only. Like sending the messages or SMSs, all this comes under this TCP/IP model. So their acknowledgement is required. Now, talking about our particular course AWS, we'll see how we enroll with Amazon Web Services. First, the thing, in order to register with Amazon Web Services, all you required is credit card info or debit card information, because for registering, Amazon will charge you 2 rupees as per Indian currency. Okay, provide your email address, password, and the confirm the password. And this is leave it optional, nothing required. And then continue. For time being, I'll use someone's email address. Okay, I'll make it to do it from. Okay, I don't want to much go to this registration, guys. I have one video about this registration process of AWS. Okay, I'll be sharing with you on the WhatsApp link. Just follow that. And coming to our course, I'll directly log into Amazon course and I'll start up with services. Hmm, what's happening? AWS. I have this link was provided by my company guys. I mean our institute guys. So this is different. This is how the console of Amazon Web Services look. Again, guys, I am once again reminding you. With Amazon, we have data centers globally on these different regions. Okay. As soon as you connect to this Amazon console, you have to look at is to which data center right now you are connected. Right now, I'm connected to Canada data center. Okay, I'll for best operations, what I'll do is always choose the data center which is nearby you because of latency issues. I'll choose Mumbai region because it is very near to me, so that the latency period would be very less. So in order to check the latency period from my computer, I have a website called cloudping.info. When you click on this from your computer, it will check all the latencies, how much time it is your computer is trying to communicate to the data center. Let me check. As you can see, as the data center Mumbai is very region to Hyderabad, that's the reason it's shown just 50 milliseconds, and the next to Singapore 69. So I'll do all my operations at Mumbai region. So connected to Mumbai data center. Now the first service we'll be talking about is S3. AWS S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. Okay, S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. So from the name itself, you can see that storage service. This is something related to storage service. Okay, as I told you, on cloud computing, we will be having two types of storage, right? One is block storage, other is object storage. This S3 service comes under this object storage category. Object storage category. Okay, why he named it as simple storage services? It is very simple to create S3 storage, and it is very simple to upload our data to S3 storage, and it is very simple to share our data with others with the help of this S3 storage service of AWS. Okay, now under S3 storage, what you do is you store your information. Okay, you store all your information. In order to store your information, first thing you have to create bucket. Second, upload objects. So what is this bucket? Bucket is something similar to our folders. In your system, in order to store, what you do, you create a folder and then you copy all your data into that folder, right? Similarly here on S3 bucket, you create a bucket and you upload your data into Amazon S3 bucket, into that particular bucket whatever you created. So create bucket and upload the data. I am calling this data as objects. Okay, objects in the bucket I'll call. So this is the terminology that Amazon has given. Okay, now we'll see how do we create a bucket. Okay, just you'll find this S3 service under a category called storage. When you click all services, you'll find this S3 under storage category. Okay, when you click on this, right now there are a lot of buckets has been created, and let me create one bucket. Create bucket, bucket name, and whatever the bucket name that you give, the bucket name has to be very unique. Unique bucket name. It has to be unique in such a way that not only unique in your account, AWS account, it has to be unique throughout all the AWS accounts whoever carrying and whoever creating the bucket. Let me see that. If I want to create a bucket name with test, okay, in Mumbai region, specify the region where exactly you're trying to create this bucket. Okay, next here create, left side create. It's saying bucket name test is already been taken by some people, so choose another name. Bucket test 99, create. Even test 99 is taken, so it's like optional choice you'll be having. You have to name it very unique. I can say test AWS 13. Now nobody is taken that name. Now it's created a bucket test AWS 13. Here you can see. Okay. Now talking about much about this bucket and everything, the maximum storage you can store on the bucket is unlimited. You can store unlimited amount of data on this Amazon S3 bucket. And the maximum object size that you can store on this bucket is 5 TB. What is this object size? Object size is nothing but the data that you are uploading into this bucket, right? The data, the object. Assume that the object may be one MP3 file or one text file or one video file, whatever it is, that you can store is 5 TB. Guys, do you really think that there would be a file, single file of 5 TB large size? Maybe, but Amazon supports still 5 TB of data you can upload. I mean, the file size of you can store on our Amazon S3 bucket, and the bucket size is unlimited of data in files you can store on our Amazon. But Amazon will be charging you on per GB of storage that you store. Okay, Amazon is charging you per GB of storage that you store on the bucket. At the end of the month, Amazon will say, okay, this guy has used this much GB, okay, for this many hours. He will charge you on hour basis. GB per hour. This is what the pricing model of Amazon on bucket, Amazon S3 bucket. Let me see the exact how much he is charging. That you can find when you Google AWS S3 pricing. Just Google it AWS S3 pricing. You will find a beautiful. This is an ad. This is also an ad. Google ad. Here you can cloud dot aws.amazon.com/s3/pricing. Here you can see he's saying for the first 50 TB of storage that you store on the bucket, he is charging you just $0.023 per GB per entire month. If you store 1 GB of data for entire month. For that he will be charging 0.023 per GB. Okay, it's very cheap price. And whatever the data that you store on this Amazon S3 bucket will be, you can share it with other people. Assume that you can share it with everyone, or you can share it with certain people. Okay, again, to what level of sharing? Permissions means read, write. Okay, now assume that I have created a bucket. Now I am the owner of that bucket, right? Now I want to upload some information and I want to share that information with one of my friend. Okay, how I do is I created this Amazon test 13 bucket. Click on that bucket and I'll upload some information. I was doing all this through GUI, graphical user interface, because Amazon has provided me a beautiful console. Assume that I want to upload some this cat deploy IT services. Upload. Amazon has uploaded my system from my system this PBD file on the bucket. Okay, now I am the owner of the bucket, so I can only see this thing. If I want to share it with this, just Amazon will provide for each and every object you upload in the bucket, it will provide a unique URL. Okay, if you click on that URL, you can access that file. Now, if I click on this URL, as soon as Amazon is saying, hey, access denied, it is not allowing because I haven't shared. If I shared with some people specifically, assume that I was trying to share it with everyone, what I can do, go to that particular object of the bucket. Amazon S3 service, go to that bucket, test 13 AWS 13 bucket, select that object. Okay, here you can see overview, properties, permissions and management. Go to permissions. Now if I want to share with everyone, here public access, under public access category select everyone, what exactly you want to do. So everybody, whoever has the URL of that bucket, they can just read the object, list the object. It means that they can see what the data, and they cannot write on that PDF file. Save, just list objects. Now if I click the same URL once again, I mean, okay, this is what the bucket. Everyone can list the objects. Everyone has access to one of or all the list objects, create objects, read and write missions. Okay, very good. This is what I am looking for. I saved it. Go to bucket, that file, and that link. Now see, automatically my browser is downloading that file. Okay, as soon as I click on that link, here you can see that. See, my browser is downloading that file. Means that it is we are able to access that file. This is how you share the information with the help of this Amazon S3 bucket. So whatever I told for today, it's just a 10% of what Amazon S3 bucket can do. Okay, this S3 bucket has lot of features. One is upload data. Second is share data. Third, even you can host a website on S3 bucket. Okay, and the website has to be static website. Okay, not the dynamic website. I'll tell you what is difference between static website and dynamic website. We'll talk about this on tomorrow class. Third, permissions on bucket, as well as you can have the permissions on objects also. So each object permission you can keep yourself different with other object, or you can have that entire bucket permissions applicable on that and whatever the objects you upload on the bucket. So my just what I wanted to tell is your bucket will have the permissions as well as the objects in the bucket will also have the permission levels, and you'll have a unique URL for each and every object that you upload in the bucket. And even for the bucket also, Amazon will provide a unique URL for that bucket as well as the objects in the bucket. Fifth, in order there are three types of storages that you can choose while uploading your data that Amazon supports: for frequent storage, infrequent storage. Okay, so standard storage. We'll talk about this in tomorrow class. What is the difference between these three different bucket storage types and why we require it, when they require it, what is the purpose of that. We'll talk about a concept called life cycle management of the bucket tomorrow. So I just don't want to start much by today. Tomorrow we'll be talking about entirely on this S3 bucket and we'll be completing this particular service of S3. We'll host a website on S3 bucket. We'll see how that works. Okay, and that's it. Not much for today. This is Monday morning. I don't want to dig deep. So any doubts from your side, guys?